everybody, it's Kara, and I am back for another volume of Principal's Office Hour. Now, I realize that it has been some time since I've done one of these. It's been for a variety of reasons. First of all, okay, this is gonna sound crazy and dumb, but the first 3 volumes of Principal's Office Hour ended up with something really bad happening in my life. So the first volume, my stepmother, Emily, got super sick. Volume 2, she was put in the hospital. And volume 3, Marlon's mother died. So I kind of got away from Principal's Office Hours because every time I would do one, something bad would happen. And then I thought to myself, Kara, you're just being dumb. You are just absolutely being dumb. There's no connection in that. It was just one of those silly things, and I know you guys are going to be so sweet and say, Kara, that's not silly. I get it. But that happened. And then after I kind of talked myself back into it, it was a perfect storm because we had Dakotathon, we had the retreat, we had so many things going on that life happened. And, we were cleaning out Marlon's mom's house because of the death and just on and on. As all of you know, I'm not the only one going through this. Life happens. Sorry, let me take a sip of my Diet Coke. But that's kind of my reasoning behind this kind of going away for a little bit and now it's coming back. But I have had several of these planned and knew what I was going to do, so that wasn't the issue. It was just, I just was waiting for the other shoe to drop every time I did one. And I didn't want it to be that way. Again, and I know that sounds silly and ridiculous, but that was just the way I was feeling. So, but I am back. I am going to be trying to do these on a regular basis. I do have a goal for this year, which I am woefully behind on. But you know what? I'm going to give myself some grace. This is the perfect example for everybody else. You know what? It's never too late to jump back on the horse and get going again. So it's really good to be back with a Principal's Office Hour, and a couple of things really motivated me to get back into this, and I so appreciate it. I did a self-care class at the retreat at Crafter's Paradise, and people really seemed to like it. And it was really good talking to people about just positivity and taking care of yourself and that sort of thing. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about Lisette in this. She did a video that really just was inspiring and motivated me as well. So before I get going on my topic for today, so the Principal's Office door is now open again. So come on into the office and we're just going to have a little chat. I am working on Away From It All by Ivy Dollamore. It is by Diamond Art Club. I am absolutely loving it. I'm going to be obviously working on the section here that you're looking at. When I get done with this particular row, I'll be about halfway done. So I'm super excited about this one. It's been so much fun to do. I enjoyed the last Ivy Dollamore I worked on, which was the spiral. I finished it and loved it. It was actually one of my favorite finishes of 2024. So love Ivy Dollamore's work. And I've got several whips going, but wanted to work on this one while I talk to you. It kind of was fitting, away from it all. We're kind of away from the day-to-day and the grind. So hopefully these Principal's Office Hours are like a whip and chat and not like a whip and chat. I kind of wanted to be a little bit different and out of the ordinary when I did these. I'm going to be working on a diamond painting. But I'm also going to be talking on a particular topic. So please use this, grab a coffee, grab something to eat, and work right along with me. WIP stands for work in progress, and we're just chatting about a topic. And I decided to do principal's office hour because I did have a lot of teachers at one point coming into my office needing advice on particular things, and I was able to do that. Whether they use the advice or not, I know and don't know, but they seem to like it. So, and the first 3 volumes of this principal's office hour, people have really seemed to like, and people have asked, where's the principal's office hour? I really enjoyed that and I wanted it back. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I will have a playlist beneath each of these. Hopefully I'll be doing more in the future. I've got to get myself geared up and, get going again on these principal's office hours. I normally do these twice a month, normally on Wednesdays, the beginning and the end of the month. So look for them and please hold me accountable. And if you like them, please keep asking me about them. You're not bothering me. You're just motivating me to continue doing them. Our topic for today is 2 words. You matter. You matter. This topic was actually brought to my attention by an amazing author, Angela Meier, who I got to meet and I got to work with. I worked with her with some of my kids. She's amazing. I got introduced to her. For those of you that listen to TED Talks, she has a wonderful TED Talk. I will also link that TED Talk beneath this video. But she talks all about choosing to matter yourself, helping to others to feel like they matter. I come across a lot of people and I interact with a lot of people in the diamond painting community, and a lot of people that I come across, or some of them at least, don't feel like they matter. Sometimes all of us don't feel like we matter. It's like, am I just breathing air, taking up space? Does anybody really care whether I'm here or not? And that's a terrible feeling to have. So what I'm going to talk about today is how do we help others to feel seen? How do we help others to know that they do matter? And how do we help ourselves to know that we ourselves matter? Because I always say this, your happiness is not contingent upon anyone but yourself. And so you have to choose to matter as well. So anyhow, I'm sorry I did not tell you anything I was working with. I am working with a Candelicious pen, which I tried to kind of be matchy-matchy on this. This is a Firefly tray. It's for our event that we did this year, Dakotathon 25. It is an Inferno tray. Love it, love it. I'm using patty wax, as I always do in my multi-placer. And I am using super sticky, and it's a combination of super sticky and maybe some other wax in my single placer. I cannot remember. So let's move on. At the very beginning of this, I'm not going to be diamond painting very much because I have a story to read to introduce this topic. I hope you enjoy the topic today, and if you do, please don't hesitate to give me a thumbs up. That really helps the channel. And if you're new, hi, I'm Kara. Welcome. I hope that you'll consider subscribing and sticking around for more content that is diamond painting, unboxings, finding new trends and shops in the diamond painting world. And it's free to do and it helps the channel. And I would love to have you join the painter household. So without any further ado, let's get into the topic of You Matter, Volume 4 of the Principal's Office Hour. I'm going to start out with a story and that I found actually recently and I love. So pardon me for not diamond painting right now, but I will get into it shortly. All right. Every Tuesday at 3 p.m., Mrs. Ellis, the silver-haired librarian, would slide a handwritten note into a random book before reshelving it. No one knew it was her. You're braver than you think, she'd scribble on lemon yellow paper, tucking it into a thriller. The world needs your laugh, nestled inside a joke book. She'd done this for 12 years since her husband passed. One rainy afternoon, 14-year-old Marco flipped open a dusty atlas and found a note. Someone out there is proud of you. He stuffed it into his pocket. That week, his mom had been laid off and he'd been hiding lunch money in her purse. The note stayed with him, creased but unthrown, like a secret friend. He started visiting the library daily, hunting for more notes. Mrs. Ellis watched him quietly, noticing how he'd linger in the cookbook aisle. His mom's dream was to open a bakery. One day, she accidentally dropped a note near his feet. "Follow the recipe, kid. You've got the ingredients." Marco baked her a lumpy banana loaf the next week. "For the note person," he mumbled, pushing the tin across the desk. Mrs. Ellis smiled. "They'll love it." Years passed. Marco's mom opened her bakery, yellow note cakes, with recipes pinned beside customer orders. Graduation day, Marco left a note in the atlas. "Thank you for seeing me." Mrs. Ellis retired last month. At her farewell party, the library displayed a clothesline strung with hundreds of yellow notes found in textbooks, romance novels, even a gardening guide. A nurse wrote, "This got me through night shifts." A single dad, "I kept your "you're enough" note in my wedding ring box." Now, the library's new intern, Marco's little sister, starts her mornings the same way, watering plants, shelving books, and hiding scraps of sunshine. Mrs. Ellis still comes in on Tuesdays. "Found one," she'll say, waving a fresh note someone left for her. Funny, isn't it? How words meant to heal others somehow heal us too. And that's what I want us to focus on today as we're principals officing hours and whipping and chatting, is the things that we sometimes take the time to do for others do heal us. I know that it's healed me many, many times, doing things for other people. Again, I want to call your attention to the TED Talk by Angela Meier. Now, if you watch the TED Talk by Angela Meier, she is obviously in education, so it's primarily for students, but this absolutely has a profound impact on adults too, letting people know that they matter, okay? So what I said, and I'm sorry for the people that came to my self-care class at the retreat, some of this is going to be a little bit repetitive, but it's worth saying again. People have a basic need for human connection. Connection with others is something that we all need. I know that sometimes when we are diamond painting, we are alone, and sometimes we like it that way. Sometimes we need our alone time. But fundamentally, people need to connect with others. That is why lives on YouTube, talking to people on the phone, going to retreats, connecting with others, being in social media groups can be very powerful for people, especially people living alone, people that, again, we all need that human connection. So that's why those groups are so, so important. Bouncing ideas off of people. I do that all the time. We are all social beings. You might not think you are, but we are all made for connection in some way, shape, or form. Some of us do our connecting through our YouTube channels. That serves us well. Some people, even though we might have a social anxiety, need to connect with others in our own way. That is also part of helping people to know that they matter, is if we have someone that may be a little bit more reluctant to connect in a social setting, allow them to connect in their own way. Don't force them into a big group and rah, 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 that's not going to help them. If we see them and know them, even though we might not know them personally, but take the time to read a room and read people's responses to things, and let them connect in their own way. I will tell you, when I hired staff, I purposefully looked for a variety of people. I'm a rah-rah person. I know, big shocker, but I am. I'm a rah-rah person, love people, love connecting, love talking and socializing, and I can talk your ear off. obviously. But there are people that find that extremely difficult and would just rather do anything other than doing that. However, they do want to connect just in their own way. So us rah-rah people have to kind of ratchet it down about 10 notches and realize that everyone is not like us, and everyone is not going to feel comfortable doing silly things and doing things that we want to do in order to connect. And I learned this the hard way as a new principal. You know, I love to dance and do silly things, and you know, I fell out of chairs for the kids and just did all kinds of stuff. Well, that was great, but not everyone felt comfortable. And I would, you know, I did an activity at the beginning of my years as a principal, and a lot of the staff was like, I want to die right now because I can't do that in front of people. I don't want to do that in front of people. And so part of letting people know that they matter is allowing them to connect in their way. And that is perfectly fine. And it's taken me a long time to figure, you know, it took me a long time to figure that out. So if you want to get anything across to people, I will tell you relationships with people matter. The type of relationship that you build with people matter. The trust you build with people matters. That's another way of letting people understand that they do matter is, you know what, their story is their story to tell. It's not your story to tell. Again, keeping confidences, allowing people to connect in their own way is extremely important. There are things that you can do to let people know that they matter that don't cost a thing. You don't have to buy them gifts. You don't have to, you know, absolutely bend over backwards or take an astronomical amount of time. It can be like I read the simple notes from the library at the beginning of every school year. I took the time, and this did take time, but it meant a lot to me. I started a tradition the very first year I was a principal. I wrote every single staff member. And when I say staff member, every teacher, every paraprofessional, every custodian, everybody in the entire school, I wrote each of them a personal note on the first day of school. And it took me a long time. I would start midsummer, and I had a theme every school year. You know, I'm a rah-rah person, so we had a theme, and we were gonna yah. But I tried to connect the note to the theme. But I also tried to write something personal that person contributed to our campus in each one of those notes. And yes, it took me an astronomical amount of time to do. But I found the teachers saved those notes. They had them pinned on bulletin boards. They put them in professional portfolios to take to job interviews. They did a lot. It actually warmed my heart, and it really connected me more to the staff members to do that, because for 5 or 10 minutes, I was thinking of each individual person on my campus. Now, you can take that same idea of note writing, write your spouse a note, put it in their lunch, put it in their backpack, put it in their work satchel, whatever. Put it in a place where you know they're going to find it, and see what happens. See what happens. And it doesn't have to be a long note, just write them a note. Lots of parents put notes in their kids' lunch boxes, but how often do we do it for our spouse? Marlon used to write me notes all the time, and I loved it. And he kind of stopped. You know, you get married and you don't have to try as hard, right? But I told him how much those notes meant to me. And so every once in a while, I will wake up in the morning or get up to have my coffee, and he'll have left a note. Just, I love you. I hope you have a great day. Just wanted to let you know how special you are to me, what have you. And it's a short note, but it means a lot to me. So maybe start doing that for your spouse. Just every once in a while. You don't have to do it every day, you know, but it's little things like that that help people to know that they matter. Names. I am so bad with people's names, but names are important. It's extremely personal. That's who you are. And make an effort when you get out there. And I have to really, I work and I use mnemonic devices to help me remember when someone introduces themselves. I will literally repeat the name. Hi, so-and-so, I'm Kara. So I remember and I connect it. It's actually easier for me to learn names in the diamond painting world, believe it or not, because I connect channel names to names. Now, if I'm at a retreat and someone doesn't have a channel, again, that's even more important because, sometimes people walk into retreats and think, well, I don't have a channel. I must not be that important. Oh my God, I'm here with all these creators. Nobody cares that I'm here. Yes, we do. Absolutely, we do. I have met a ton of people that I have become dear friends with that don't have channels, just because you take the time to talk with people, learn their names, and your name's important. So, and I had 1,200 kids' names. I had parents' names to learn, and it was tough, but I would use any technique that I could. I would use the yearbook. So I've been a principal, an assistant principal at a campus, but I had kind of grown up at that campus, so I was a teacher there, so I knew the names of the staff there. But when I went to my first campus I was a principal at, opened 2 campuses, and then went to a junior high, the summer before I would start, I'd take the yearbook, and I'd take the yearbook home, and I'd start looking at teachers' pictures and their names, and I'd start learning them, because it's important that people's names are important. These are just simple things, but you would not believe how far they go in order to let people know they matter. So personal notes at the beginning of the year. I remember I had my youngest son, Blake, in August, and it was right at the beginning of the school year, and I literally was in my hospital room after I had him, writing notes to my staff, and I had a couple of teachers call me in tears going, we just knew that this was going to be the year we didn't get our notes. And I had my AP come get them, and she put them out on the desks, and they were like, and we got there the first day of school and they were there. That's how much little things like that mean to people. I didn't even know that before that happened. And again, it's absolutely made my day that people cared that much that I was doing that, because my hand hurt. My hand hurt a lot after writing 100 and something notes. But taking the time to do that, I got a lot out of it as well. Like I said, it made me feel just as good as it made them feel. I'd also write notes after observations, after I would observe teachers. When you have a principal in your room observing and writing down every single word that you're saying, it's a little nerve-wracking. I'll just tell you, it's a little nerve-wracking, because I was a teacher, it happened to me. So, I'd take the time to write a personal note after every observation and write down a couple of things that I noticed that teacher did really, really well, just so they had some instant feedback, but it also let them know you matter. And again, I see you. Let people know that they are seen, learning their names. When you're out and about, I know people are shy about this. And again, these things, you can take some of them, trash some of them. Like I always say, you don't have to take every one of my ideas, but, when you're out and about, give somebody your smile. If you see a shirt you genuinely like, you don't have to be fake about it. I'm not saying you have to say you like what everybody's wearing, because I don't like what everybody's wearing all the time. I don't. But if you see something you like, say it. You don't know how much that person might need it. Oh my gosh, where did you get that? I love that. And, make somebody's day. Again, you might not know in that moment how much they need it, and they may need it. I remember, I have notes. Also, let people know their significance to you. This is the person, another person that motivated me to get back into these principal's office hours, Lisette. Lisette did a video, and I've heard so many creators talk about it. And I'm going to talk about it now because it was absolutely powerful. She took her time to do it, and it's something that I will not forget. And it helped, again, I couldn't believe what she did. She listed over 80 creators in this video that she watched, and she not only listed them, she said something personal about each one of the creators she was talking about. And it was unbelievable. 80 creators, I think she listed. It was like she took the time to do that. Well, that lets people know they're significant. And I know every single creator that saw that watched and thought, oh my gosh, is she going to say my name? And I wonder what she's going to say about me. That matters to people, So anytime you can personalize something for someone, I talked at the retreat at my personal care class with the folks that came. I talked about, it's not so much a game, it's an exercise, and you can do it. I've done it in classrooms. I've done it with my own family. And I challenge you to do it with your family or your friends. And it's an exercise called I've Noticed. And it's really simple, but it has to be authentic. You find something your child has done, your brother, your sister, your grandma, your aunt, your spouse, whoever is a significant person in your life, and you use the words I've noticed, and you notice something that they've done. But here's the thing, you can't just say, hey, I noticed you were so nice to your brother today, because that's not inauthentic. But if you don't follow it up with some sort of example and let the person know that you've really observed this, what they're doing and why it's significant, it doesn't come off well. So if you're looking at your spouse, hey, I noticed that you emptied the dishwasher today. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how much that means to me. I was so tired today, and just seeing that just made my day. Follow it up with a little bit of an example, and really take the time to notice. Don't just pop off with, well, I noticed this, and really you haven't noticed it. Take the time to really notice what your kids are doing, what your spouse is doing, and let them know that what they did meant a lot to you and why it meant a lot to you. And I want you to watch their faces. I want you to watch their faces when you do this. So take the time to notice, okay? And again, it's called I've Noticed, and it's as simple as that. I've done it with Marlon. I've done it with my kids. Your kids really light up with it. Hey, I noticed you were so sweet to your brother today. You shared your toy with him. Oh my gosh, you helped him clean up his room, or you shared your animal crackers with him when you were watching TV, and I noticed. I know you didn't see me noticing, but I did, and I'm so proud of you for doing that. Those kids' faces will light up. Your spouse will light up, because a lot of times as spouses, we go through our day to day, and it's just, things are just expected. And I know there are people out there that are going to say, well, he just expects me to do this too, and he doesn't notice. That's okay. You may start a chain reaction. It's okay. You're doing this without the expectation of getting anything in return. Okay? Just see how it works. Okay? I challenge you to do that. There are also some other things that I wanted to share with you. Sometimes I will tell you that we get going, and I got going so fast when I was a principal that we don't stop to take time to notice our kids, to notice our friends. And I am so guilty of that. I'd get going down the hallway, and I could never play poker because I don't have a poker face at all. I will tell you. I just have a look on my face when I'm focused, when I'm determined to do something, what have you. I'm on a mission, and Marlon will even say, "Kara, you've got the look. What's going on? You're gonna do something here. I don't know what, but it looks pretty serious." But I'd get going down the hallway at school, and I'd bypass a teacher and not say anything because I was off in my own world getting ready to do something. And that teacher would show up in my office later, and fortunately, I had the kind of atmosphere where teachers were not afraid to come to my office and say, "Hey, Kara, what's up?" There would be teachers that would come and go, "Hey, are you mad at me?" And I'd go, "Well, no. Why would I be mad at you?" "Well, man, you just brushed right past me in the hall and didn't even stop to say hello or what have you." And I wasn't even thinking about that, but I was off in my own little world, determined to go get whatever objective I had in my brain accomplished, and I bypassed somebody without saying hi. And I understand that we can't always stop and say hello. We've got to get stuff taken care of, what have you. But sometimes taking just a moment for somebody helps them to know that they matter and helps you in the process as well. So we get wrapped up in our, in our phones, in our world. And, I've said this too, when you pick up your kids from school, the best advice I ever got was when my kids were in preschool. And I had a preschool director, and man, she was a battle axe. I didn't want to cross that woman. I was afraid of her. I had a healthy fear of that woman. But when I was going to drop Doug off at preschool, my oldest, she said, "I want you to make sure that when we put your child in your car, I don't want to see your phone. Your phone should not be up. Your phone should be put away. Because your child is excited about their day and they want to talk to you about it. And if your nose is in your phone, you're going to miss it. You're going to miss the excitement, and they're going to stop talking because they know that every time you pick them up, you'll have your nose in your phone, and why bother?" So absolutely, it's a phone-free zone in the pickup line, and we will be watching. And she was watching, I will tell you right now. And that was okay because it got me in the habit of every single time I pulled in that car rider line, the phone went in my purse. And I was ready to connect with my child and let my child know, you matter. I mean, if you think about it, my poor kids had to share me with thousands of other kids every single day. So the time I spent with my kids was precious. I was busy a lot. Mom was having to run hither and yon, and a lot of you guys have jobs like that too. Your kids and your families are having to share you with your job, no matter what your job is. They have to share me, Marlon has to share me with YouTube. He has to share me with events. He has to share me with retreats and all kinds of stuff. And so the time that we spend, we went to the post office together today. Simple little trip, but I left my phone at home. I wasn't on my phone. We talked, we listened to music, and we just had a time to reconnect, and it let him know he matters. Okay? So put your devices down, put your phones down, okay? Just try it for a little bit. It's hard, believe me. I am not telling you stuff that I am not guilty of. Big time guilty. Marlon, a lot of times will go, Kara, you're in the matrix again. Get out of the matrix. Talk to me. Hi, I'm here. Get into reality. And I have to remember that. And we can definitely connect with others and let them know they matter by getting out of our little matrix and putting our phones down and just talking, just connecting. I've also learned that every moment doesn't have to be a Facebook moment. I've had some of the best times and not taken one picture. Everything does not have to be a social media event. And that's okay. And sometimes it's kind of nice to have a special event or a special moment just for you and not for the whole world. Because that's how, what did we do without that? What did we do before that? We just had nice moments with our families and our friends, and everything wasn't a big picture. Just throwing that out there, okay? So I have a couple of pages. I've got Angela Meier's book here that I read a lot of self-help books and a lot of motivational books. I have had this book since I was a principal. But there's a quote in this book that says, "Never doubt that a few words from you at the right time can change a person's life for good." And I believe that. I really, really do. There's people carrying around a lot of baggage. They're carrying suitcases, they're carrying steamer trunks, they're carrying backpacks. We have absolutely no idea the load that people carry when we come across when we come across them. And sometimes just a word from us and just us taking the time and a minute to help people feel seen and feel noticed and feel like I see you. I value you in this world can mean a whole heck of a lot. So Angela Meier has 9 ways to show people that they matter. The first one is listen earnestly. Sometimes when we're listening to people, Stephen Covey is an oldie but a goodie. A lot of you have heard of Stephen Covey. He's a pretty, the Franklin planners and all that kind of stuff. That's all Stephen Covey. And I remember listening to his stuff ad nauseum when I was an administrator years ago. But he talked about listen first to understand. Then you can respond to be understood. So when you're listening to someone, listen to them without at the same time thinking of a brilliant response. Just listen to them. And a lot of paraphrasing works there too. So use words like, so what I'm hearing you say is, because sometimes when someone is trying to communicate with you and we are so busy listening, trying to think of a witty response or a problem or a solution to their problem, they may not want us to solve their problem at all. They may just need us to sit there and put our arm around them and just listen. That's it. That's all they need. But if we're not listening to them to understand them, we may miss that entirely. Again, completely guilty of this. I am a problem solver by nature. I love helping people solve their problems. It makes me feel really, really good. But sometimes people don't need you to solve their problems. They just need you there to listen. Okay? And sometimes people do not need you to empathize with them or say, oh my gosh, the same things happened to me. Because you know what? This isn't about you at this moment. This is about them. The same thing might have happened to you. You might have had a worse thing happen to you, but the worst thing you can do when someone comes to you with an issue is play the comparison game. Oh my God, you think you have troubles? Listen to mine. No, that's not what that person needs at that moment. They need you to hear them. They need you to see them. They need for you to be an active listener and I sometimes have just out and out asked people, I hear you. I've said, I hear you. What would you like me to do with this information? And sometimes people are shocked by that response. And what I mean by that is, do you want me to try to help you to solve the problem? Did you need me to just listen? Because sometimes I know and sometimes I don't. So I'll just use the words, what would you like me to do with this information? And sometimes they'll say, you know what, you just being here listening, I feel so much better. I just got it off my chest. I've processed a little bit. I think I'm gonna do this. Or they may say, oh my gosh, I need your advice. You know, what do I do? I need your help. Okay, well then you can spring into action that way. But just make sure that when, again, a person's talking to you, you ask them that. What would you like me to do with this information? So listening earnestly. The second thing you can do, ask meaningful questions like, what would you like me to do with this information? Or start at the beginning. Give me some background on this. Sometimes having people backpedal a little bit helps their processing. Sometimes, again, asking earnest questions shows that you're listening. It shows that you are actively listening to this person about whatever it is that they're needing to talk with you about, or, you know, again, you're again trying to make this person understand that they matter and you see them. So asking really good questions helps with that process. You know, what's on your mind these days? What was the best moment of your day? These are things that you can ask your kids. How did you make a difference today? What were your ambitions for today? How can I help you with the goal that you're trying to achieve? So those types of things are really great open-ended questions to ask people. The dinner table is another place to really connect with each other as spouses and family members and with kids. So don't forget to ask those questions. Believing in someone, believing that someone can do what they're doing. You know, everyone needs a boost every now and again. I have talked to creators with thousands of subscribers, and there are days that I talk to some of these creators and they're like, I just don't think I'm making a difference here. I don't know that I can do this. They need you to believe in them and believe that they can. And they can. They just need a boost. I am no different from anybody. Some days I just need a boost. And subscribers or my friends, or, you know, again, sometimes a perfect stranger on my channel will say something and it just absolutely reignites that fire. We all have some sort of a fire inside of us, and we need to keep that fire burning. And yes, we can do it ourselves, but there are times that we need others to help us keep that fire ignited. And it's sometimes tough to do. And so just a kind word or being seen by somebody else is just the motivation that we need in order to keep that fire burning. So please never underestimate the power of your words. Sometimes I'll make a comment on somebody's video and go, God, that was so cheesy. You know, I meant it, but I'm like, God, I hope they don't think I'm just the biggest cheese ball ever. But they don't. It means a lot to people when you take the time to respond to videos. It means a lot to me when people respond to these, because sometimes I get off and go, was I just a blithering idiot, or did I get anything across to anybody in this video? You know, you just don't know. Let's see. Dwell in possibility. Dwell in possibility. Don't say no all the time. Say, why not? Let's try it. What's the worst that can possibly happen? Okay, it may fall on its face, but at least we tried. You know, some of the best ideas that people have gotten and have done have been based on dwelling in possibility. Help others to be seen and feel like they matter, and help them to dwell in possibility as well. I absolutely people would look at me as a principal like I was the biggest nutball on the planet, because I would allow teachers to try stuff. Let's try it. What's the worst that could happen? It's not going to hurt kids. It's not going to be detrimental to anyone. If it flops, it flops, and we can try something else. So let people dwell in possibility. It changes the world. It does. Celebrate people. Celebrate them. That's exactly what Lisette did in her video. She celebrated people. She celebrated creators for what they were. That's so important. And we need to celebrate people. We always, again, it sometimes gets to be extremely competitive out there in the world. And it's sometimes hard for people to just celebrate each other's successes. I don't know why that is, but I tell you what, you know, when people are super successful, instead of looking for what I call chinks in the armor, we always tend to look for chinks in the armor. Well, wow, that channel is really growing fast and she's super popular. You know what? I wonder what's wrong with her. I wonder what's wrong, or what have you. We dwell in that sometimes so much. Let's dwell in possibility, and let's genuinely celebrate each other's success. I keep a group of people around me that I know genuinely celebrate my successes, and I genuinely celebrate theirs. They're not saying, "Congratulations, Kara," through gritted teeth because, you know, of jealousy, or they didn't think I deserved it, or what have you. They genuinely want good things for me. And guys, when you find friendships like that, keep them. They're rare. They're extremely rare, because a lot of times people have a tendency to look for what I call chinks in the armor. Well, what's wrong with this person? I bet we can find some dirt on them, or I bet they've done something to somebody, or I bet they're not as great as they think they are. And it just happens, and I don't know why. It just does. And I wish we would spend more time not finding chinks, but genuinely celebrating each other. And by genuinely celebrating each other, we let each other know you matter. Number 8, I got 2 more. Number 8, show up. Show up. I used to be absolutely terrible at this. I always said, I don't do hospitals and I don't do funerals. I don't do it. It's too much. I don't want to be brought down, blah, blah, blah. Well, then guess what happened? My mother died. My mother died. And people showed up to that funeral. Show up to things for people. It absolutely meant the world to me. And you know what? It's because of that horrible funeral that I had to walk in, and I didn't know how I was going to have the strength to do it, and people showed up for me. I knew after that day, I will never not show up for people at funerals. I will never not show up for people at hospitals. I had a close friend that, unfortunately, she had cancer and she ended up passing away. She was in the hospital, and I went to see her. And you talk about hard. She was on the exact same floor and the exact same unit my mother was on when she passed away. I had to walk past the same waiting room, the same, it was tough, but you know what? She was my friend and she needed me. And I didn't tell her. And I was with a couple of other people, and we walked out and we got in the car, and that is when I just breathed out, and I cried a little, and they were like, "What is up, Kara?" You know, we know it's, we know she's not doing well. I said, I had to walk past the room that my mother died in to get to Cindy. And they were just, what? And I said, but it was important that I was there. It was important to me that she knew I was there. And I wanted to do that for her. And my mother would have wanted me to do that for her. So show up, even when it's hard, because it lets people know they matter. Show up. And finally, you choose to matter. And by choosing to matter, I mean, again, go out and make a difference for somebody else. Take time to talk to somebody. Take time to write a little note for your husband's lunchbox. Take time to call a friend that you haven't talked to in a while and they've been on your mind and you just haven't had time. Haven't had time to call them, haven't had time. You know what? Make time. I'm telling you, you never know. Make time. And you will be glad that you did. So, in summary, be a light in the world by helping people to know that they matter. Start noticing things more actively about the people in your life and tell them what you've noticed. Start expressing what you see in people that makes them special. I've noticed this about you, and God, this makes you so special. You probably, and I say things like, you probably don't even realize that you do this. But let me tell you what you do and why that is so amazing and why that's your superpower. Back your compliments up with examples, authenticity, right? Don't let an opportunity go by to tell someone what a contribution they are making. You never know how badly they may need it. Make a comment make a comment on someone's video. Make a comment to your kids. You know what? I'm telling you, teachers would send me notes all the time from parents. If you have a teacher and your kid comes home and says something, please, I beg you, write them an email, write them a note. They keep them, they treasure them, they don't get them often. Just anyone that makes a difference, your doctor, maybe a kid that sacks your groceries and just is absolutely positive and just makes a difference. Go talk to them and let them know that. They need it. People in this world, this day and age, need it. And remember, everyone is carrying an invisible load. Help them carry it by noticing. And most of all, you matter. All right? And I'm going to end this principal's office hour with one of my favorite stories, Alice in Wonderland. And this is a conversation between Alice and the White Rabbit. And I'll leave it on this note. Do you love me? Alice asked softly. No, said the White Rabbit, I don't love you. Alice frowned and clasped her hands the way she always did when she felt small and hurt. You see, the rabbit continued, now you'll start wondering what's wrong with you, why you're not enough, why I can't love you at least a little. He paused, then leaned in with eyes full of gentle wisdom. That's why I can't love you. Not yet, because love isn't supposed to fill the holes inside of you. If you don't love yourself, even just a little, then every careless word, every misunderstanding, every gray day from someone else will cut like a deep blade. He looked at her kindly. People hurt each other, Alice, even the good ones, not because they mean to, but because they're tired or lost or struggling with something no one can see. That's life. And you, my dear, must be strong enough not to crumble when it happens. Alice looked down, quiet. The White Rabbit smiled. The first time I saw you, I made a promise to myself. I won't love her until she learns to love herself, because then and only then will your heart be safe, whether I'm here or not. So you choose to matter as well. All right. I had a great time chatting with you. I didn't get a whole heck of a lot done on this, but that's okay. I had a great time chatting with you today, and I'm so glad that I've chosen to matter a little bit and gotten these principal's office hours back on track. I hope you enjoyed today. Leave me a comment if you did, and I will see you soon with the next principal's office hour. Like I said, if you have not been to a principal's office hour, I will link my playlist of all three of my former principal's office hours in the description box below. You guys have a great rest of your day. This is the Principal Painter, and I am signing off.